Today, we're going to talk about something that keeps more people stuck than anything else. Something that disguises itself so well that you might not even recognize that it's there. We're talking about fear. And before we go any further, I need to be real with you about something. This podcast, the one you're listening to right now, I delayed starting it for months because of fear. I told myself I was waiting for the right equipment, waiting for the perfect content, waiting until I had more clarity, more direction. But you know what I was really doing? I was afraid. Afraid of what, you might ask? I was afraid that I wouldn't be good enough. I was afraid that people would judge me. I was afraid of just putting myself out there and being seen. I was also afraid of what success might actually require of me because I'm really busy. Fear is sneaky like that. It doesn't always show up as an obvious terror or a panic. Most of the time, fear disguises itself as something else entirely. It shows up as procrastination, as busyness, as overthinking, that's me, or as waiting for more clarity. Maybe I need to go to school. Maybe I need more knowledge. Sometimes it shows up as anxiety about the details. Other times it shows up as people pleasing. But let me tell you what I've learned. You can't move from stuck to unstoppable until you're willing to face your fear and call it out for what it is. So today, we're going to talk about fear. Not all types of fear, but 3 that you probably wouldn't expect. 3 that might be operating in your life right now without you realizing it. I'd like to start with the question, what if the thing that is keeping you stuck isn't what you think it is? Most people think they're afraid of failure, and people talk about fear from the perspective of being afraid to fail. And sure, that's a real fear, but there are other fears that run just as deep. Fears that are even more surprising. Let's get into fear number 1. The fear of success. Wait, what? Fear of success? I know, you're thinking, I'm not afraid of success. I want success. But listen, fear of success shows up when you think about what success might actually require of you, and you freeze. When you sabotage yourself right before a breakthrough, or when you play small, even though you know you're capable of so much more. Fear of success will whisper things to you like, if I succeed, then people will expect more of me. I know all about that. If I succeed, then my life will change and maybe I won't be able to handle that. Or if I succeed, people will think I'm showing off or think I'm all that. Or if I succeed, I have new responsibilities and maybe I'm not ready for all that. So what do? You stay comfortable. You play small. You procrastinate on the very things that can move you forward. Let's talk fear number 2. Fear of judgment. This one keeps a lot of people stuck. It's the fear that if you step out and you try something new, if you share your gifts, people will criticize you, or they'll judge you, or they'll talk about you. So how does fear of judgment show up? Well, fear of judgment shows up as overthinking everything before you post it, or share it, or say it. Maybe you're waiting for permission from other people before you move on something. It's people pleasing instead of just being authentically you. And it's also staying silent when you have something valuable to say. It could even be not starting something because you're worried about what other people are going to think. But here's what I want you to know. People are going to have opinions no matter what you do. So if you're stuck waiting for everybody to approve of what you're doing, child, you're going to be stuck forever. Now let's talk fear number 3. Fear number 3 is the fear of being seen. This one is a deep one. This is the fear that if people really see you, they might not like you very much, or they might not like what they find in you. So what do? You hide. You dim your light. You make yourself smaller. The fear of being seen whispers to you things like, if they really knew me, they wouldn't like me. Or, I'm not ready to be all the way out there and visible yet. Or, it's just safer for me to stay in the background. Or maybe you even think to yourself, who am I to shine? And you know what? This fear is so powerful. There's a whole poem about it. It's called Our Deepest Fear by Marianne Williamson. And I want to read a little of it to you. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, famous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We are born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Now listen to that again. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. So your fear of being seen is actually a fear of your own power, your own greatness, and your own call. Now, here's what we're going to do this week. I want you to create a fear inventory. It's simple, but it's powerful. You're going to name your fears. Let's do it. Let's get out our journals or take out our phones. Go to the Notes app. If you've been with me through this podcast, you know I'm going to ask you to do this, so I hope you are ready. And I want you to write down this one question. What am I really afraid of? Don't write the surface answer. I want you to dig deep. Not, I'm afraid of starting my business. That's just a surface answer. I want you to dig deeper. What are you really afraid of? Are you afraid it will fail? And then it'll prove that you're not capable of running a business? Or are you afraid that you will succeed and change your whole life? Are you afraid that people will judge you for trying to start a business? Are you afraid of being seen and having to show up consistently? Write it down, name it, be specific. Here's what happens when you name your fear. It loses some of its power. When I finally named my fear about starting this podcast, when I said out loud, I'm afraid this won't be good enough and people will judge me, something shifted. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. The fear didn't disappear. It got smaller, but I could see it for what it was. And once you can see your fear clearly, you can choose to move forward anyway. Feel the fear, but do it anyway. That's what courage is. Courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is taking action even when you are afraid. So, here's your reflection question for this week. What fear has been disguising itself in my life? Is it my procrastination, which is actually fear? Is it my busyness, which is actually fear? Is it my overthinking, which is actually fear? I want you to get honest with yourself. Where is fear showing up and calling itself something else? And then I want you to ask, what would I do if I wasn't afraid? That's your next move. That's where you need to go. Your action step this week is to complete a fear inventory. Write down what you're afraid of, be specific, be honest, and then choose one small action you can take this week in the face of fear. If you're afraid of judgment, I want you to post something authentic on Facebook or TikTok. If you're afraid of being seen, I want you to show up somewhere you normally hide. And if you're afraid of success, take one step toward that big goal. Do it afraid, move anyway. That's how you go from stuck to unstoppable. But listen, God did not give us the spirit of fear. Do you know how many times fear not appears in the Bible? 365 times. One for every single day of the year. That's not a coincidence. That's God saying every single day, I'm reminding you, do not be afraid. 2 Timothy 1:7 says, for God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Fear is not from God. It's a tool the enemy uses to keep you stuck, to keep you small, to keep you from walking in your purpose. Every time fear whispers, you can't, God is saying, I am with you. Every time fear says, what if you fail? God says, I have plans to prosper you. Every time fear says you're not enough, God says, you're fearfully and wonderfully made. The question is, whose voice are you going to believe? Listen, I just had a conversation with my daughter the other day. She was contemplating attending a networking event that could be pivotal for her career, but her fear of social events, they had her feeling stuck. See, she's an introvert and she struggles with striking up conversations with strangers. Maybe you're like that, but I convinced her to go with a good pep talk, and she went. She called me the next day to tell me how wonderful her experience was at the event. The organizers and the other guests that attended the event wrapped their arms around her and helped her. What's even better, she is learning to get over her fear. She's planning to attend the next event. And we all know how critical relationship building is in career opportunities. When I finally named my fear about starting this podcast, when I said out loud, I'm afraid this won't be good and people will judge me, something shifted in me. The fear didn't disappear. It got smaller and I could see it for what it was. And once you see fear clearly, you can choose to move forward anyway. Feel the fear, but do it anyway. That's what courage is. Courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is taking action even when you're afraid. And I know fear feels big. I know it feels overwhelming sometimes. And I know it whispers lies that sound so true. But you are more powerful than your fear. You were created for more than playing small. You were designed to shine. And every time you choose courage over comfort, every time you name your fear and move anyway, you get stronger. You don't have to be fearless to be unstoppable. You just have to be willing to do it afraid. God says, fear not 365 times, one for every day. Today is your day to choose courage. I believe in you. Now go face that fear. I'll see you in the next episode where we're talking about momentum and the motivation versus the discipline. Until then, keep pivoting.